Silksong can be a challenging game, and if you've played the first Hollow Knight, then you know that there are tons of bosses to defeat. So we here at Direct Gaming wanted to show you how to take on Widow. This video is going to cover the following. First, let's take a quick look at what I am bringing into the battle, like crest, the items attached, and so on. Then we are going to cover how the boss moves around, the attacks to look out for, and of course, how to counter those moves. Then finally, a full run of the boss fight, sped up a tad to show you how to use everything you have learned in real time. Plus, as a special thing for this video, we've got an extra bonus thing that you definitely want to see at the very end, so make sure you stick around. Timestamps below, let's get started. In terms of what I brought to the fight, there are two main things you might not have yet that I highly recommend. First is the thread storm you get in Greymoor if you go to the right side of the map after you completed this challenge room. The other is right before the Morwing boss fight, and that is getting the Reaper's Crest. This helps with getting Silk back after healing and changes how your attacks are. It actually plays very similar to the Knight in the first Hollow Knight. Then, as a third bonus item you might want to also get is going to be near where you get Threadstorm that I mentioned beforehand. This is called the threefold pin, which basically is like having 3 knives that you throw out at once. This can be very helpful, especially for this boss in its later stages. Now, you don't absolutely need this stuff, but I'd still at least recommend getting the Reaper's Crest, as it's going to help a lot, especially if you find yourself healing a lot and running low on silk. But with our loadout and equipment done, let's get on to the actual boss fight itself, because oh boy, this one's a long one. Okay, so Widow is definitely going to give you a run for your money. I've seen streamers who are actually pretty good at a lot of games like this, or even things like Elden Ring and Souls-like games, are having trouble with this boss fight. So let's go over its moves and what you can do to make it easier, especially because this boss actually has an actual second phase, unlike every other boss up to this point. For the main attacks, there are 3 that you're going to want to watch out for. First is a dash attack from the air, followed by a multi-hit scissor-like attack. The boss moves around very fast, basically looks like she's teleporting. When you see the boss in the air, use your dash move to avoid the first attack as she dives down towards you. Now, don't think going under the boss is going to trick her and she's just going to run to the end of the arena. The second attack has her running at you with her arms, which are basically acting like needle swords. No matter what direction you dash, the boss is either going to chase you down one way or turn around and then chase you down. All you need to do is just make sure you jump over her, otherwise you can say goodbye to 2 of your health points, because this attack can hurt a lot. The second attack is what I like to call the bouncing bell attack. The boss will start hand weaving some almost invisible threads, showing you the predetermined path of the bells that will try and hit you as they fall from the ceiling or get thrown at you. The catch is that the bells will actually bounce once before going away. There are 3 patterns that I personally saw, each with 2 bells that can be thrown at you. The first is a 45-degree angle on both sides of the screen. Whichever side the boss is on, the opposite side will be easy to see, but the one on the same side as the boss will be a little tricky. The far side will appear first, and the bell will be thrown and thus bounce once. Right at the time of the first bounce, the second bell is going to get thrown at you from the other side of the screen. Basically, utilize your dash to make things easier for you to avoid these attacks. Stay on the ground if you possibly can, because sometimes you might get tempted to jump, but because it bounces, it's going to hit you regardless. The second pattern is 2 bells coming straight down. This one is pretty easy to dodge, and the bells will only bounce straight up, and then they'll simply go away. Also, this is a great moment right here to try to get some attacks on the boss before they fly away. The third pattern is a combo of 1 at an angle and 1 coming straight down. Depending on where the boss is in the room, you can actually attack her while the bells are dropping, thus doing a lot of damage to her, and it allows you to avoid taking damage. Our final normal move that you're going to see is this full screen shuffle-like move. The boss will appear at one end of the arena and scurry across the ground. Then, about 2 seconds after the boss reaches the other side of the arena, 4 piles of bells and sharp objects will pop out of the ground to try and hit you. To avoid these, first jump over the boss. Then I recommend getting to the side of the arena the boss started at, jump, and then float there until the piles of junk start to disappear. Then you'll be able to land safely on the ground and continue your attack on the boss. Alright, so I know that it was a lot right there, but these are the main attacks you're going to see throughout the entire fight. Now, the best time to damage the boss that I kind of mentioned beforehand is when she's using her silk-like strings to throw the bells at you, or basically have them dropping from the ceiling. Use this chance to attack her whenever you can. However, if you need to stay safe and not take any damage, it's okay to dodge around or a better outcome when it comes to the bells getting thrown at you. As you damage the boss, you will eventually stun the boss for some free damage like we've seen in other boss fights. Unlike most boss fights though, this would usually signal you reaching the full power stage of the fight or a round 2. That is actually not the case here though. The boss's attacks pretty much stay the same. There's only one new attack that is added, but it's just simply a wider bell attack where 4 bells will be dropped straight down from the ceiling. Just move to the clear area like you're seeing here on screen, and you can continue the boss fight like it's no tomorrow. When you finally finish the boss off though, it's gonna look like she disappears, but don't be fooled. Now the boss is in her second phase. Strap in your gamer pants because things are about to get dialed up to 11 right here. Now, there are actually no new attacks when it comes to this second phase. However, everything has been updated and sped up a lot. Normal bell attack either straight down or at an angle. Now it's going to be 2 at the same time, meaning there could be 2 to 4 bells being thrown at you at once. One thing I did not mention in part 1 is you can technically hit the bells away. I actually did this on accident in the second phase of the fight, but they will not damage the boss. So while you can knock them away if you find that easier for you when fighting this boss, you're not going to be dealing extra damage to her, so it doesn't matter in terms of trying to do this faster. How about the scurry across the floor attack with her arm blades? Now it can happen after the airdrop or just simply on the ground. Plus, it'll happen right after other attacks are happening, making the dodge window even smaller. The only attack that's going to stay the same is where the junk will pop up out of the ground to try and hit you after the boss is scurried across the entire arena. The only catch here, though, is it can happen after other moves much faster, thus feeling as if the move is faster. The actual speed that the boss is moving is not changed, but the timing between attacks is going to be a little different, so make sure you keep an eye out for it. As for the final attack, when the 4 bells drop at once, they're actually being more spread out, and another attack will happen right afterwards. For example, more bells could be dropping or thrown at you, meaning that you could have up to 5 to 6 bells on screen bouncing around at once. It can be a little chaotic sometimes, so don't focus on trying to hit the boss in this particular moment. Just try to focus on avoiding damage, then you can focus on trying to damage the boss even more. Now, the key to damaging the boss in this particular phase is still attacking when the threads appear, but before the bells start falling. Also, the threefold pin item I mentioned before at the start of the video, yeah, this is why I highly recommend it, because you'll be able to attack while jumping around, and there's a higher chance that you're going to actually hit the boss because 3 weapons are getting thrown instead of 1. Now, these will bounce off of the bells, but again, like I just stated, with 3 of them being thrown at once, you're going to have a higher chance of getting hits on the boss as she's moving around faster. Other than that, though, when it comes to this boss, it's best to be patient. There are no new moves or a third phase or anything like that. However, because of how fast or how small of a window you get, especially in phase 2, this might take you a few tries. This boss personally took me about 5 to 6 attempts before I finally beat her. Oh, if you need to heal, use the bell attacks with the thread as your chance, since the boss stands around until the attack finishes. It helps knowing where the attack lands, move into position, and then you'll be able to heal. Remember, if you try to heal and you get hit by the boss's attack, not only will you not heal, but you'll also lose the silk that you had saved up. Also, try to heal and then get some hits on the boss, especially if you're using the Reaper crest like I recommended. This allows you to get more silk faster and thus heal more if you need to. Keep up the attacks until you finally take the widow down. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, there is one final thing to finish up for this particular guide. When you've completed the after boss jumping section, go back to Belhard where you saw all those NPCs strung up and basically acting like puppets. Since you defeated the boss, they're all free now. And would you look at that, a bunch of shops have opened up now. So go back to this area and go to the bench to heal up, obviously. Then go left a tad and then jump up like you're seeing here on screen. Keep going until you reach this particular blacksmith right here. It is finally time to upgrade your needle. This can be easily missable, so I wanted to show you all real quick where it was. This should help a lot going forward, especially because I've heard that some of the bosses after this are even more difficult. Thanks, Silksong. Now, here's a full run of the boss fight, sped up a tad to show you how to do everything you have learned in real time. If you're finding it challenging, try a couple runs to simply learn the timing of the attacks and how to best move around the arena. It's okay if it takes you a few tries. If you enjoy the guides and the like on the video shows us that you enjoy this type of content, and don't forget to check out our other Silksong guides and content along with our other videos in the top right corner and pinned comments. Thanks for watching the video. I've been Talon with Direct Gaming. I hope you have a great day and week, and I hope to see you all in our next video or in our live streams. We enjoy getting to chat with everyone on Friday who stops by. Until next time, though, Johnny.